Whoa! I don't know what that intro was. Top 50 albums of 2023. We're here, everybody. Top 50 albums. It's crazy. Movies will be coming out next year. But without further ado, we're going to get into it. This year was awesome for music. I have two honorable mentions. One of them is Ugly by slowthai. I chose to leave this off the list because everything's still going on with him. I know some of you are probably watching being like, what, I'm that person. When Rex Orange County, when everything came out, I kept it off, and then everything happened, and then it was all done, and I still listen to that record. I'm doing the same thing here. I think it's still a great record, but if you can listen to that before, after, whatever's going on, you can choose to do that. And then the Childhood Eyes EP by Yellowcard. It's my most listened to thing this year, but it's an EP, so I didn't want to cheat because I haven't really listened to any other EPs this year. Without further ado, let's get into it. 50, Kaytraminé by Kaytraminé, Kaytranada and Amine. Number 49 is the return of Sigur Rós with Ata, believe is how you pronounce it. 48, Gag Order, the really weird new experimental pop album by Kesha. At 47, we got So Much for Stardust, Fall Out Boy. At 46, we got Henry Street, The Tallest Man on Earth. At 45, we have The Land is Inhospitable and So Are We by Mitski. At 44, we have one of the 7,000 albums Nas put out this year with Magic 3. And at 43, we have Struggler, Genesis Owusu. 42, we have Austin, A Change of Direction for Post Malone. And at 41, we have Why Would I Watch by Hot Mulligan. At 40, we have King Krule with Space Heavy. At 39, we have Ways of Knowing, Navy Blue. At 38, we have the sad and emotional But Here We Are by Foo Fighters. Still rocking, though. At 37, we have Mid-Air by Paris, Texas. And at 36, we have the collab album Voir Dire, however you would pronounce that, Earl Sweatshirt and The Alchemist. At 35, we have the sophomore album from huge pop star Olivia Rodrigo with Guts. 34, Algiers with Shook. And at 33, the return of Detroit-based rock band Protomartyr with Formal Growth in the Desert. And at 32, the album that everyone loves this year, The Record, Boy Genius. At 31, again, 10 Tricks, Point Never, solid electronic album. At 30, Food for Worms by Shame. 29, we have Beloved, Paradise, Jazz, McKinley Dixon. At 28, we have Desire, I Want to Turn Into You, Caroline Polachek. 27, we have Saved, Reverend Kristen Michael Hayter, as formerly known as Linguida Ignota. And at 26, When We Were That, What Wept for the Sea, Colin Stetson, great musical or instrumental project. At 25, Quaranta, finally it's out, by Danny Brown. Serious, dark, brooding, great direction for Danny, love it. 24, Hell Mode, Jeff Rosenstock. One of his odder records that he's put out since Post. It's still a great record. I really like it, but definitely some very interesting choices he made on here. 23, We Buy Diabetic Test Strips, Arm & Hammer. One of the best experimental hip-hop albums of the year. It's fantastic. It's so off-kiltered. It's probably the most experimental thing that Arm & Hammer has done yet. 22, That Feels Good, great pop album by Jessie Ware, great return, kind of that disco pop that she's been doing, and it's dancey and it's fun. 21, After the Magic, Paranol. I was not really expecting this album to hit me so hard. This album is gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's sweeping, it's well written, it's fantastic, it's amazing. I really enjoyed this record, and I honestly want to try and get back to it sometime soon. 20, The Beggar, Swans. Swans is kind of hit or miss for me, but this record, I don't know what it was. It was really well done, and it's, I was a huge fan of it. 19, Maps, Billy Woods again, with Kenny Siegel. change pace for Billy Woods. It's jazzy, it's smooth, it's low-key. His most accessible record yet, but still so great. And the storytelling and just the structure of the album is awesome. 18, Laugh Track, the second album this year from The National. I love this record. It hits what The National's been doing great lately, what they've been known for. I'm a huge fan of it. I think there's stuff about it that also kind of has been slowly growing over time for me, and it's a great album, for real. 17, The Patience, Mick Jenkins. I am so happy Mick came back with such an urgent record. Probably my favorite record of his since The Waters. Like, I know that's a mixtape, but my favorite project of his since that and The Waves. I love this record. It's awesome. And he sounds hungry, as confident as ever, and I just love what he does here. It's straight to the point. 16, This Is Why by Paramore, going in sort of that dancey indie rock direction, you know, some of that Block Party inspiration. They do it well. The songwriting's great. It's a tight project. Love it. 15, The Death of Randy Fitzsimmons by The Hives. The return of The Hives is as big and punchy as ever, and it's great. In your face, quick record, to the point. Love it. Number 14, Playing Robots into Heaven, James Blake. He's moving on from kind of that singer-songwriter R&B style, going into a fully kind of curated electronic album, and it's fantastic. Kept my attention. It's not the most innovative thing in the world. It's just what James Blake does and how he puts the album together, and all the little tweaks he does it's awesome. 13, Why Does the Earth Give Us People to Love? Cara Jackson. I love her personality. I love her voice. Her songwriting is right there. It's poetry, really. And the album itself is fantastic. And I think just her vocally and her songwriting and her voice itself keeps me interested, keeps me on the edge of my seat this entire album. 12, Monolith, Squid. This album is fantastic. Their sophomore album is so great. It does so many quirky things. It's awesome. It kind of reminds me of some of the great Black Country or Black Midi stuff. I think Squid is firmly getting themselves in there. And at number 11, we got Ludwig, the OG Ludwig, Oppenheimer original movie soundtrack. The soundtrack is bumping. It's bussin', as the kids would say. You can roll your eyes at that. I've been listening to this soundtrack so much this year, and it's intense in all the movements. And do yourself a favor, listen to it. Watch the movie too, because the movie's great. At number 10, top 10, 3D Country, Geese. This album is all over the place with its sonics, and I think it works so well. And the mix of genres and the personality on vocals and all that, it's great. And it's an album that I think you all need to listen to, because I went into it kind of like confused, and it's awesome. Number 9, Scaring the Hoes, JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown. Danny Brown is here again. JPEG just put some of the craziest beats together. The two of them sound so awesome on these beats. It's weird. It's eclectic. Song titles are funny. Lyrics are funny. I think just what they're talking about, again, is also very real. It's kind of that Vince Staples effect of how real he is, but also how funny he is while doing it. It's awesome. Number 8, 10,000 Gex, 100 Gex. Their most complete record. You know, it's not that much longer than what they put out, but all their different sounds they do is great. It feels like they just go on this sonic odyssey. Vocally, it sounds much better. I think they're really focusing on a lot of different stuff here, to where it's not just all the auto-tune and all kind of that dubstep EDM stuff. It feels like there's a fucking ska song on here. There's a lot going on. Frog on the Floor, Where'd It Come From? Nobody knows. That's iconic right there. Number 7, Heavy, Young Fathers. Really, other than the finale to this album, I love it. It's in your face. It feels kind of like a uniform album for the band. It's what they do best. It's catchy and it's lo-fi and the beats are great and it feels religious at times and the flow of the album's great. Some of the songs that I heard before the fact sound even better in the context of the album. It's awesome. Number 6, Life Under the Gun, Military Gun. Punchy, to the point, kind of has some of that, that just like anthemic energy to it, that raw energy. I could see why people maybe think it's one note. It definitely doesn't, there's some parts on here that go in different directions, but it is what it is. And I think it's just that album that hits you and it stays with you, and it's just a catchy, fun listen, and it has some emotional beats as well. Number 5, Losing What We Love, Knuckle Puck. Holy moly, this album. The guys did it. I'm shocked how well this album sounds. Like, just sonically and just the dark places they go, it fits really well. Some of it is a little melodramatic, but I think it still sounds serious and just heavy. And I think the sequencing is awesome on here too. Some of the deep cuts, I think, are some of their best deep cuts. And I think this is their best album since probably their debut. I know a lot of people love their debut, and I think this holds high up there as well. Number 4, I'm going to read this whole album. Eve's 2 More, Why Do You Do This? Praise the Lord who chews, but which does not consume, or simply hop between worlds. Ridiculous title, but not a ridiculous album. It's tight, it's focused. I think this is the most creative Eve's has been. It feels like it's kind of a uniformity of what they have done. Apologies if I have not said they, by the way. What they have done, and it's just some of the best stuff they've done, and so much of it sticks with me, and just I've been a fan of Eve's. I've been more of a fan of their ambition and their creativity, but this album feels like it is so laser focused, and I still listen to it. It's great. And just kind of the mixing of genres on here is something they can only pull off. Number 3, Quest for Fire, Skrillex. Who would think Skrillex would have came back with an album as amazing as this? Like, great beats, great builds, great drops, great breakdowns, great features. The best electronic album of the year. It's Skrillex has aged so well. And to see him making something so mature and so meticulous is awesome. And I can hear influences of kind of that newer EDM sound. Rest in peace to Sophie. And there's some Flume on here, but he killed it. And I'm still not going to listen to that other album of his because I hear it's not great. Number 2, Lahai, Sampha. Sampha, you could take as long as you want, dude, because this record is just beautiful, gorgeous, it's spacious. It just feels like you're on a cloud the whole album, and he's just singing to you, and just the creativity, it's unmatched and unheard of. It feels so much more ambitious than his first record, and I'm so happy Sampha was able to come back in such a big way. It's awesome. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. And at number 1, a lot of what I said about Sampha, I can put on this person because it's Sufjan with Javelin. This album is just gorgeous, and it's brilliant, and it's just such a great combination of what he's done so far, and just a beautiful send-off to his partner, his late partner, and just, I talked a lot about this on the latest What's on Repeat, and just, I can't get over how devastating and gorgeous this album is, and just how mystical it sounds, and Sufjan is just known as one of the GOATs, right, in that indie singer-songwriter sphere, and I think this album really just puts him at the top because he's put out some devastating stuff before, and this album, just the mixture of what he's done before really just sets a tone for what he's probably going to do next. I'm so excited, and my heart's with him because he's been going through so much, and this album is just amazing. It's my favorite album of the year. But what's your favorite album of the year? Leave it in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out my singles list, my concerts list. Movies will come next year. Thank you all so much again. This has been such a fun year. This list was one of the more difficult lists to have done, and hopefully 2024 pulls it off as well. So thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in to ChannelBK. Peace out, everyone.